Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. Oh, 'cause we are standing on holy ground. The holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground. Last time. Holy, holy, holy ground. We are standing on holy ground. Love and light and joy abound. We are standing on holy ground.
Well, it's hard to stay seating when they kick us off like that, isn't it? Shall we give them a little bit more cheering on? Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Well, good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa. I'm Nancy Reynolds, a member and volunteer and former trustee of the center. And as always, just super happy to be here with you. So hi and welcome. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. Or if it's the first time in a while, welcome back. Please know that your children and grandchildren are welcome here too. And in fact, our youth program has recently been re-kicked off. I don't think that's a word, but we're going to go with it. It has been an amazing success. During this service, the 11 a.m. service, there is childcare available for your infants and toddlers, and also some fun, wonderfully creative, spirit-centered programming for elementary age and middle school age children. We're also working really hard to get information about the teens in our community so we can rebuild our teen group. If you know of any teens who would like to have a safe place to be themselves and to make new friends while also learning how to connect with spirit, please do send them our way. During both of our services, your children and grandchildren are welcome in the sanctuary. There also is a family room in the back of the sanctuary and a fun coloring table in the social hall. So if any of the children are not quite ready to dive into the youth program, there's a place for them as well here. Parents, if you're wanting to get plugged into the youth program, I'd like to invite you to connect with Jennifer Caldwell, our youth coordinator. She is here between services and also a few minutes today after this service, and she can share with you what wonderful things she's got planned for the children in our community. You can also send her an email at youth@cslsr.org. Now, before I go any further, let me say hello and welcome and thank you to our live stream viewers. We're so grateful that you're here with us this morning. And for those of you who are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, we would like to ask if you would share this with your community. You can do that by clicking on the share button and help us get the word out about all the great things going on at the center and also the teaching of the science of mind. Thank you for that. If you would like more information about what's going on at the center, you can go to our website, that's cslsr.org. There you'll find a comprehensive list of everything going on at the center. The list is called the Information Pages, and you can find it by looking for the photo of the typewriter on the homepage of the website. And if you are new here and wondering what we're all about, I'd like to invite you to stop by the information table in the social hall after the service, where you can pick up a copy of the pamphlet, What We Believe. And if you are online and would like to get that, or even here, you can ask our COO, Chief Operating Officer Linda Hann, and she will email you a copy of that pamphlet. At the Center for Spiritual Living Santa Rosa, we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. It's called the Global Vision, and it invites us to imagine a world that works for everyone. I'd like to share with you a few lines from that vision to bring us into our service today. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We follow this vision through our 5 core spiritual practices. Would you please read them with me? They're up on the screen. Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. I know that here today, somewhere between the music, the meditation, the practices, and the message from Reverend Russ is exactly what each of us is searching for the next step of our spiritual journey. Again, you're welcome here. And now please enjoy this next piece of music that will lead us into our time of silent contemplation.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, or so without, all I need is here and now. Where there's error, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender and let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me now and evermore.
How wonderful it is to recognize and remember that Spirit is everywhere. That Spirit is all-knowing, all-wise, and always available all the time. Spirit is the source of all good and the creator of all life. And each one of us is immersed in these spiritual qualities of love and peace and joy and harmony and that power for good. Each one of us has an equal share of those qualities of Spirit. And we can open to expressing that more and more in our lives. Expressing love, expressing joy and gratitude for this understanding that Spirit is everywhere present. And so I claim for this service that there is an abundance of gifts here for us to receive. And I claim that we are open. We open our hearts to more love. We open our minds to exploring, and we open our hearts and souls to connect with one another, to be glad for this gathering, this celebration of Spirit. And so now I am grateful. I'm grateful for this time of remembering the truth. And I can just let go and release this word into the law and just let it be. And so it is. Good morning. I'm Betty Smith, a practitioner emeritus here. And I'd like to lead us in the affirmation that will appear. There it is. Today I live life to the fullest.
Never really know which way it's gonna go. Set your feet down on the road, facing the unknown. Staring through an open door, never left the shore. Walk on through, there's so much more to find. And all you ever need to bring, an open mind, a willing heart, the song that you were born to sing, and be a candle in the dark. One step is all it takes to start. Adventure you are, you are, you are, you are the adventure. All the weight of your past mistakes, but that's a heavy load to bear. Just pack what you can take. Standing on the precipice, there must be more than this, leaning into all that is divine.
Oh, can we give some more love to Chris and Atreyu and Brett and Nick? And who knew that Atreyu could sing? So welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome, live streamers. Sorry you had to wait a couple of hours to get on the live stream. We had a little bit of a technical hiccup this morning, but we are here with you now, so thank you for joining us. And we're just so glad that all of you are here. Now, I have a creation story to share with you. Once upon a time, a long time ago, all the way back, in fact, during those very first moments of the Big Bang, there was a humble particle named quark. And quark was just chilling, hanging out in the emptiness of space with all of her particle friends, simply enjoying existence. And then one moment, about 3 seconds after the Big Bang, which by the way is an eternity for a particle, quark started to get a little curious. She noticed that there was this urge within her, pulling her towards some of her other particle friends. And she thought to herself, I wonder what might happen if I joined up with those nice particles over there. And so she met up with her friends, another couple of quarks, and then all of a sudden, her curiosity was rewarded. They got together and they attracted an electron that had been buzzing around, just waiting for something cool to happen, and they became a hydrogen atom. But they were still curious. In fact, they were a little bit more curious. And while being a hydrogen atom was great, there's a lot more freedom as a hydrogen atom, and they even had an electron that they could play with now. This group of quarks wondered what more might be. And so they kept on joining and growing together, bringing all of their hydrogen friends together, making new elements through a whole bunch of fusion parties until one day, after about a few billion years of this curiosity, they noticed something amazing had happened. Their curiosity had turned them into a whole star. And they burst with energy, igniting, for the first time shedding warmth and light throughout the entire cosmos. And to this day, a tiny little planet named Earth is warmed by the light that came from these very first sparks of curiosity. Indeed, it's the very same curiosity that resides within the human hearts that created this blazing star. And it's this curiosity that makes those sometimes weird little humans, makes them seek out the unknown and gives them the courage they need to walk in all the dark places. Curiosity, I love talking about curiosity because the more I think about it, the more I recognize that curiosity is inherent in the very fabric of the universe itself. It's that spark that forms relationships. And through these relationships brings more complexity, more life into our universe. And it's a complexity that transcends yet includes all of the parts that make it up. Now, I'm not quite sure what might have caused that Big Bang, and if anybody tells you they know exactly what it is, please take them with a dump truck of salt, because nobody knows. And by the way, that Big Bang was this one moment of infinite expansion that created the universe that we are in now. In fact, it created us. I am sure, though, that there must have been some spark of curiosity, some desire by something, Ernest might call it the thing itself, to answer this simple question: what if? After all, why go through the trouble of creating a giant and humongous infinite universe if not to find out what's going to happen? So in that way, I find curiosity to be a connecting force. It opens us up to forming new relationships with the unknown. It helps to ask that question, what if? And it pushes past our reservations into uncharted territory. Curiosity is what caused sailors to circumnavigate our globe. It caused the Wright brothers to build the very first airplane, transforming the way that we travel. It caused science itself, and the benefits of which we have here now with the lights that are on that we perhaps take for granted, or even this live stream that we're on. All of this is a product of curiosity and so much more. Curiosity is taking the unknown and bringing it into ourselves and making it known. Now, the longer that I'm on this tiny little planet that we live on, the more curious I find myself becoming. And unfortunately, that sometimes means that I get a few too many hobbies. For example, last year I bought my first telescope to view the stars. I'd always loved stargazing and looking up at the stars and finding a dark site, if I was out camping or just, in the wilderness, and just looking at the grandeur that is our cosmos. And so I got this telescope and I researched it, I was curious about the telescope, how it worked, and figured all that stuff out, and went out for the first time and pointed my telescope at the Andromeda Galaxy. Now, when you look at the Andromeda Galaxy through most consumer telescopes, you're going to see something that looks kind of like a galaxy, though it's more of like a white blob. But I knew more because of that curiosity. You see, I had researched about the Andromeda Galaxy too before I went to look at it. And you know what I found? I found that this galaxy, which is the closest galaxy to our own, the Milky Way, is nevertheless 2.5 million light years away from us. So what that means is that the light that I was viewing through my telescope in that moment had taken 2.5 million years to get to me. Humans didn't even exist when those first photons of light shot off of those stars on their way over to us. Are you curious yet? Now, if that doesn't spark your curiosity, there's a much more expensive telescope that we can look through. It's called the James Webb Telescope, and it was launched into the depths of our solar system so that it could get away from all of the light pollution and things that would make it really hard for astronomers to really take a good look at the universe that we live in. And Lyle, can you bring that slide up for me? So this is one of the very first photos that the James Webb Telescope ever took. It's called a deep field image, and they call it that because it is exactly that. It's taking a deep picture of a portion of our sky. Now, in that photo, what's going on? Well, there's a couple of stars there, and you can tell the stars because they've got rays coming off of them. That's called a diffraction pattern. But behind all of those stars, each and every one of those points of light is a galaxy. Every single one. In fact, there's thousands just in that image alone. And each one of those galaxies is made up of billions of stars, just as our own is made up of billions of stars. And are you ready for the kicker? What we are looking at here, which has been all nicely blown up for us to be able to see on these projectors, is the equivalent of the amount of night sky of a single grain of sand held about this far away from our face. Are you curious yet? This is the vastness of the universe that we live in. Thank you, Lyle. And I sometimes wonder, is there someone in one of these galaxies who's sharing this moment of curiosity with us? Might they be watching our galaxy through their own very expensive telescope? also finding inspiration in the abundance and the diversity of our universe. Albert Einstein once said this of curiosity. He said, "The most beautiful thing that we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. They to whom the emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, are as good as dead. Their eyes are closed." The insight into the mystery of life, coupled, though it be with fear, has also given rise to religion. To know what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty, which our dull faculties can comprehend only in their most primitive form. This knowledge, this feeling, is at the center of true religiousness. So, curiosity is baked into spirituality. It's part of being spiritual. You saw one of our spiritual practices is spiritual study. And by its very nature, true curiosity, a curiosity that is free from judgment, that isn't trying to control anything, heals division. By stoking the flames of that curious heart that resides within each one of us, that curiosity leads us to create new relationships. And these new relationships add to the richness of life, and by their very nature form bonds in all of the dark places where once there was separation. And by the way, this isn't just division we might see outside of us. This is also curiosity that we can direct inward, creating new relationships with ourselves to heal the wounds that we might have picked up through the challenges of just being alive and being human. I've found that as I go through my own journey of growth, I've learned that the power of being curious about those parts of myself that might be acting a little weird or a little funky or a little immature, well, that has been a powerful practice for me, and it wasn't always that way. Sometimes those challenging parts, I let them run the show, and I have to admit when I was younger that I was more frustrated with them than I was interested in meeting them. In fact, I didn't really like to meet them because if I was, it meant that something weird was going on. But the more I learned to honor my own inner curiosity and to direct it inward, the more I came up with this question, what if? What if instead of being an adversary to these parts of myself, I found a way to befriend them? What if I found the time and the energy to understand them and to find out what it is that they're needing? And it shifted everything, because what I found is that these parts, these weird parts of myself that were just doing what the parts of our mind tend to do, well, they just wanted to be seen and acknowledged. They were looking for the same healing that I knew I was looking for, and they just didn't know how. And so my curiosity led me to really build a relationship with them in a way that allowed them to be seen and heard for the first time, allowed them to set aside the burdens that they had been carrying. They knew they didn't have to do these weird, funky things to try and get my attention anymore because now they had it, which is great. And there was a fabulous side effect that came from this kind of curiosity, directing this curiosity inward, and that is it increased the curiosity I had about the world around me. And it's not surprising to me that this happened because, and I'm sure you can agree with me that isn't it hard to be curious about the world around us when we haven't even become curious about ourselves? Yeah. If we're having a hard time being curious about everything that's around us, it can be really challenging. And so that's why I think it's so necessary for us to do our work to build up that curiosity about our inner life first, to find out what motivates us, to find out what is asking for healing within us. Because once we do that, oh boy, does that stoke those flames of curiosity about everything else. In fact, I've found that making curiosity a state of being for me has even been a remedy for those times when I might have been feeling down. And author T.H. White, who has a fabulous characterization of Merlin the wizard from the Arthurian legends, he writes in his novel, The Once and Future King, and I'm going to do my best here to not go into my Merlin the wizard voice because I'm very tempted. The best thing for being sad, replied Merlin, beginning to puff and blow, is to learn something. That's the only thing that never fails. You may grow old and trembling in your anatomies. You may lie awake at night listening to the disorder of your veins. You may miss your only love. You may see the world about you devastated by evil lunatics, or know your honor trampled in the sewers of baser minds. There's only one thing for it then, to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting. Learning is the only thing for you. Look what a lot of things there are to learn. And so when I turn my curiosity outward, often to learn ways that I can help to heal division, I get such great inspiration from the story of Archbishop Desmond Tutu and all of the work that he did in South Africa to end apartheid. And what really gets my curiosity going is how he did this. And a lot of the things that I learn about were that he had this infectious laughter, this attitude, this sort of like life force that just bubbled out of him. And oftentimes that, with a combination of many stories, would be enough to defuse some incredibly tense situations. He also held these amazing interfaith services in Cape Town, bringing together Christians and Muslims and Jews all under one roof. Now, such a thing doesn't happen without a little bit of curiosity. And I think in Desmond Tutu's case that his curiosity seemed to be about how each of us sees and understands the divine and how our shared faith can bring us together. So perhaps you're wondering at this point, how can I have more curiosity in my life? Yeah? No? Nobody wants to be more curious? Well, if you have a problem like I do, you can get another hobby. Have I mentioned that I have too many hobbies? Think though, is there something that you want to try you've never tried before? If so, give it a shot. Find out if it's for you. Answer that question, what if? And trust me, there are so many hobbies in this world that I'm sure there is one that piques your curiosity. And for example, because I have too many hobbies, I recently picked up a new hobby. And that hobby is 3D printing. And I'm sure the staff is tired of me showing them all of my 3D prints and all that fun stuff, but there's going to be more, trust me. And for those who don't know, 3D printing is where, you know a regular printer, it prints on a piece of paper just like this. Well, a 3D printer does it in 3 dimensions, and it has this filament of plastic that in a very fine line, it extrudes out on your base plate, and it draws the thing that you're printing line by line until from the bottom to the top, you have whatever it is that you printed. And I took a chance on this. I had no idea how much I would love doing it. It has sparked my creative curiosity in ways that I never thought possible. In fact, I actually have some things now that are for sale in our bookstore that you can buy that I've been printing, and I never thought I would ever sell anything in a bookstore, let alone that. I thought it would be like, I'm going to write a book and put it in the bookstore. No. So you never know where your curiosity might lead you, but I do know that oftentimes that curiosity is going to lead you to a place of joy, of creativity, of learning, of growth. If, though, you do find that perhaps you're at your limit for the number of hobbies that you have, I haven't hit mine quite yet, but I feel like I'm up there. Maybe consider learning about the very fabric of nature itself. Physics and math and biology, learning about people and the science of people. Even being out in nature gets my creativity and my curiosity going. And I bet that it can do the same for you. I love going into nature and just being like, I wonder what that squirrel's thinking. It's kind of giving me a funny look. Or, I wonder where these trees originally came from. What did the seed look like? How old are they? What's going into this giant ecosystem that just seemingly manages itself? It creates questions, it creates curiosity. One thing you might consider doing is taking a class here at the center. We've got plenty of classes coming up. I know Reverend Tara has a book study that's going to be starting soon that you'll hear about from Nancy. Dr. Edward has a class that's starting on Tuesday that you can still sign up for, and we have classes throughout the year and workshops. And that's a wonderful way to point your creativity or your curiosity flashlight at spirit itself to learn about this thing called spirit that we study here at the center. Maybe you could consider learning a new language. Language is amazing because it helps us to express and to fulfill that inner curiosity. And think about how you could expand your curiosity through a language that you don't know right now. After Reverend Blanca Mejia from CSL Merida spoke at our Vista convention this past Tuesday, it was an amazing talk, but she did it in Spanish, and I had to have a translation headset, and I think, wow, wouldn't it have been great if I didn't need that translation headset? I would have gotten so much more out of it. And being monolingual, if I'm honest, I have to say, learning a new language does feel pretty scary, but I'm going to give it a shot and see where my curiosity leads me. You could also read a book. I love reading fiction, and particularly I love reading science fiction because that genre, more than any other genre, does such a good job of asking that question, what if? So I always have a really good book in my queue because I know that I can always go back to that and have my imagination sparked, my curiosity sparked. And finally, you might consider doing an inventory, looking at your life and seeing all of the good things that are here now in your life as a result of your curiosity. Maybe it's the relationship that you're in, where one day you were curious, I wonder what's up with that person. And they were like, I wonder what's up with that person too. Or maybe your job was the result of you thinking, what if I am the person to do this? There's so many more things that I could list. You might say that you could get curious about how your curiosity works in your life. You might get curious about what it is that makes you curious and list that down, because then if you do feel your curiosity waning, as we all do, we all feel that happen, go back to that list. Do the things on that list that push that curiosity button. In fact, we can do a little practice with curiosity now. So if it feels good, you can go ahead and close your eyes. And take in a deep breath. And take this moment to check in with your inner self, perhaps asking yourself, what is it that makes you most curious? And then imagine what it feels like to follow that thread of curiosity. What are you doing to follow that thread of curiosity? Are you learning anything new? This is an important question. Is there anything that might be preventing you from honoring this curiosity? And if there is anything that feels like it's getting in the way, what might it be like for you to simply let it go? And let us take this moment now to simply allow that curiosity within you to have a life of its own. Imagine that you are honoring this curiosity and watch where it leads you. And so let us take another deep breath, breathing in and out. And when we feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. How was that? You find a little bit more curiosity? The more that I honor the curiosity that is inherent within me, it's always been there, the more I notice something amazing happens in my life. I find myself to be more connected to life itself. I feel myself more connected to spirit and to the divine. I see healing in myself for those parts of myself that might have been asking for healing, that might have been feeling hurt or neglected. And I see such better relationships between myself, the world, and the people around me. Just imagine, get a little curious, ask yourself that question, what if our world had just 1% of people who were just a little bit more curious? What would our world look like? What would it be like? Curiosity opens us up to accepting into our hearts that which is unknown, that which feels like it is other from us. And it's that acceptance that builds bridges. It creates bonds. It inspires us to transcend our old ways of being in favor of boldly trekking into the unknown. The world needs our curiosity. So my question to have all of us ponder for the next few weeks is, how can we live our curiosity out loud? Thank you. Let's go into some prayer, shall we? How good it is to be curious, to know that this divine one, this divine thing, this divine power that is truly all that there is, that too is curious. It is curious quite literally about everything. And I know that it is truth, it is wisdom, it is love, and that I am one with it, just as each and every beautiful person here and on our live stream is one with this divine source for curiosity, this divine source of wisdom and intelligence and love. We are truly one with this amazing, brilliant creation. And so I claim for us here and now a gentle open-heartedness as we explore what curiosity means for us. I invite that curiosity that resides within each and every one of us to come forth here and now and to be that which informs our lives, that which connects us to those around us, that connects us to ourselves, knowing that in this curious connection there is love, there is wholeness, there is oneness, there is perfection, and that we exhibit this goodness all the more as we cultivate this attitude of curiosity in our day-to-day lives. I know that we are blessed to have this superpower of curiosity within us, knowing that it leads to us transcending any old ways of being that simply do not work. I call this forth here and now for each and every one of us, and I am so grateful. So grateful for this curiosity, and so grateful to know that this word is already fulfilled. And so with this gratitude, I simply let my word go, knowing that there is a law that takes this curiosity that I've already given it and makes more. It is done, and I call it good, and together we say, and so it is. So now is the time of our service where we enter into that spiritual practice that Nancy told us about called spiritual circulation. And we have a number of ways that you can be in spiritual circulation here, whether it's volunteering, whether it's just simply sharing your consciousness with us on Sunday, or you can give to us financially. And the first way we have for you to give financially is through text to give, where you can text your dollar amount you'd like to give to that phone number, and the robot on the other end will figure it out for you and help you to set that up if it's your first time. We also have online giving at csl.org/donate. You can mail us a check. A lot of people enjoy doing that. We have auto giving that you can sign up for at our information desk, where if you'd like to automatically give and not have to think about it, then that is an option too. And live streamers, you can send an email to our Chief Operating Officer, Linda Han, and she will help you to get set up with auto giving if you like to do that. And finally, we also have returned to passing the baskets because it's such a sweet ritual. So before we do that, I'd like to invite you to go into our offering ritual. And if it feels comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes again and become curious about something wonderful that happened to you in this past week, something that fills you with gratitude. And allow that feeling of gratitude to fill you up, to expand, and to be that which wraps whichever gift that you choose to give, knowing that all of us have gifts to share. Allow that gratitude to just infuse it, to inform it, to fill it up with joy and love and potential. And then repeat after me. I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does wonderful things in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gifts. Thank you.
We've got to be the change we want to see. Be the gift we want to receive. Sing the songs we want to hear. Walk in faith. We want to believe. Be the change we want to see. Be the gift we want to receive. Sing the songs we want to hear. Walk in faith. We want to believe. Won't you try that with me? We've got to be the change we want to see. Be the gift we want to receive. Sing the songs we want to hear. Walk in faith. We want to believe. Be the change we want to wanna see, and be the gift we wanna receive. Sing the songs we wanna hear, walk in faith we wanna believe. The gift we want to receive, sing the songs we want to hear, walk in faith we want to believe, be the change we want to see, and be the gift we want to receive, sing the songs we want to hear, walk in faith we want to believe.
Okay, I suspect that by now you are completely curious about what's going on at the center these days. So I get to tell you about all of that. This past Tuesday, February 21st, Dr. Edward gave his final talk as spiritual leader for the Centers for Spiritual Living. This was a powerful talk about the role each of us has to play in making this a world that works for everyone. And it was recorded. So if you missed it, don't worry. If you weren't able to be here in person or catch it online, you can view the recording by going to our website, cslsr.org. And look for the photo of Dr. Edward on the front page on the home page. That's actually the same thing, the front page and the home page. We are so proud of the work that Dr. Edward did in his role as spiritual leader and everything that he's done for our global movement. And we are equally grateful that he is still our senior minister. We also want to give a giant, humongous thank you to the staff of the center and all of the volunteers who helped make the Vista Conference an amazing experience for all of our guests. So thank you. Next Sunday, March 5th, we have a special guest speaker, Reverend Cynthia James, who, by the way, is on the cover of the February issue of the Science of Mind magazine, will be here with us. She'll be talking about how we can each find our voice. She'll also be doing a powerful workshop after second service. That'll start at 1 p.m. next Sunday. But you do need to register for that. And you can do that by going to the website. Look for the photo of the butterfly snacking on a very pretty lavender plant. Starting this week, as Reverend Russ mentioned, is the Reverend Tara's book study. It starts Wednesday, March 1st at noon. And it's a book study based on the book called What's in the Way is the Way. She says it's really more of a book practice than a book study, more than just talking about the content, but also dropping into short, meaningful practices during the time together. Reverend Tara will be out in the social hall for a few minutes after this service if you'd like to ask some questions. You can also go to the website and look for the education calendar link to register for that. And now I'm going to say, if you're like me and you tend to wait till the last minute to sign up for things, does anybody else? Couple people do that too? All right, good. So I wanted to let you know that Reverend Tara is accepting registrations for this right up until noon on Wednesday. So if you're at the last minute, don't hesitate. Please do join this. And also, you can pick up your copy of the book, What's in the Way is the Way, in our bookstore today, and the bookstore is also open on Tuesday, in case you didn't know that. So while you're in there looking for Reverend Russ's fancy 3D printing things, which are really cool, by the way, you can... Oh, bookmarks and bracelets. I actually want to see this in action, because I don't get the concept, but it's very interesting. So you can get those items from Reverend Russ, you can get the book for the book study, and you can also check out, there's some beautiful Science of Mind themed silver jewelry on sale, and it's the last day. Those are going away. So if you're at all interested, swing by the bookstore. Today's the day to go to the bookstore. Now, let's talk about that midweek moment when you notice yourself missing the joyful community of the center. Well, we've got you covered, so don't worry. You can join Dr. Edward Wednesday, 7 p.m. here for our Wednesday evening service. Dr. Edward will be speaking about one of our spiritual practices, which is spiritual study, which opens up the mind to better understand our true nature and helps us to live more expansive lives. We'll also have the usual tea, goodies, and Reverend Russ's freshly baked bread, and of course, that wonderful community connection. Now, I just learned this morning. Did you know that we now have yoga at the center? It's back. Natalie Seagraves is hosting a 6-week yoga experience. 5 of those sessions are on Zoom, and 1 is actually here in the center. So to learn more about that, of course, I'll send you to the website. Look for the photo of the yoga mat. Now, last but definitely not least, our annual member meeting is fast approaching. It will be held on Sunday, March 26th at 1 p.m. on Zoom. This meeting is one of the things that gives us the opportunity to gather with the center's staff and trustees and hear in-depth information about our beloved center and to vote on important matters related to the center. If you are a member, please be sure to sign up as soon as possible. And here's the thing, members. We need a certain number of members in attendance in order to have a quorum so we can do the business of the center. So it really matters that you're there. You can get more information and register on the website. Look for the photo of the vineyard. Well, that is all I have for you, so I'm going to say back to you, Reverend Russ. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and I hope that has piqued your curiosity about all of the amazing things going on here. Now, before we close out our service, if for any reason you are having a challenging time and you'd like some help, or if you just want to have one of our amazing practitioners affirm that curiosity spark within you, please consider doing after-service prayer today. We have in the corner of the sanctuary there a practitioner who will direct you to one of our practitioners who will be able to pray with you. It's a wonderful way to have somebody just know our truth. I know sometimes if I'm having a hard time, it's hard for me to know that truth, that I am one, that I am love, that I'm all of these good things that we teach here. But when somebody else can do it for me, it helps to be like, okay, now I feel better. So I hope you will take advantage of that because our practitioners love praying with you. All right, so if it feels comfortable, go ahead and stand and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Please know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to turn within to find this guidance, this sustenance, this inspiration from a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything we do and say and think, we honor this curious presence within. And so it is. Enjoy the closing music and have a wonderful week.
So let there be